Hello guys, welcome to our channel TechZen. Elon Musk and NASA's extraordinary discovery on Jupiter changes everything. Jupiter's unusual icy is unique in its composition. However, there is still a long way to go until we reach Europa. But Elon Musk doesn't think this. SpaceX's Falcon Heavy, one of the most powerful rockets ever built, will provide NASA with a boost in the right direction for the Europa Clipper spacecraft. In an announcement on Friday, NASA announced that it has selected SpaceX as its launch service provider for Jupiter's fourth-largest moon's mission. However, there is currently no specific launch date for the launch from Kennedyspace Center, but it is expected for October 2024, and additionally, it is expected that the contract will cost about $178 million. The Europa Clipper aims to determine whether life exists on the moon. NASA states that the mission's objectives are to produce high-resolution images of Europa's surface to determine its composition, search for signs of ongoing geological activity, measure the thickness of the moon's icy shell, search for subsurface lakes, and determine the depth and salinity of Europa's ocean. However, as we know, SpaceX has worked with NASA on several different projects. It includes transportation of astronauts to and from the International Space Station, delivering cargo to the station, developing technology to land astronauts on the moon through the Artemis program. NASA scientists say Europa, the icy moon, may be the best place to search for life on other planets. According to NASA, Jupiter's moon Europa may glow in the dark. Originally, NASA's space launch system was scheduled to be used for the Europa Clipper launch, but the space agency has decided to use a commercial launch provider instead. As a result, SpaceX's big rocket will be the one to start the mission. According to NASA officials, the $4.25 billion Europa Clipper spacecraft will launch atop a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. As mentioned previously, the Clipper will launch in October 2024 from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida and will arrive at Jupiter in April. During about 4 Earth years, the probe will complete over 40 close flybys of Europa. The announcement made on Friday marks a major win for SpaceX, as the Europa Clipper mission was originally slated to fly on NASA's newest mega launcher. The Space Launch System SLS aerospace giant Boeing is the prime contractor for the design, development, test, and production of the SLS core stage and upper stages, as well as the flight avionics suite. However, Europa Clipper was officially approved by NASA in 2015, and throughout its mission, it passed by the moon many times, providing an up-close look at the icy world. Many believe it's hiding a large ocean beneath its icy surface. To this end, SpaceX carries a suite of scientific instruments that will help scientists discover whether life could exist on the moon. Clipper has been legally required to launch from NASA's Space Launch System SLS since its inception. But in recent years, that has changed due to perpetual delays and cost overruns associated with the SLS. As a result, NASA has repeatedly urged Congress to allow Europa Clippers to travel on a commercial spacecraft. According to NASA's Inspector General, switching to another vehicle could save the mission up to $1 billion. The SLS will be NASA's next lunar rocket. This mighty rocket is designed to take payloads into deep space, and its first mission, a test flight, is scheduled for later this year. This rocket has more power than the Saturn V, and it is designed to take people and cargo around the moon before taking them and their cargo to the moon. Originally, the SLS was scheduled to fly for the first time in 2017. Since then, the mission has been pushed to April 2022. But NASA's watchdog agency still says the schedule is highly unlikely because the first 4 SLS rockets are going to the moon. It is unknown when the Europa Clipper will be able to use one. Due to that uncertainty, the House of Representatives opened the door for another option, a commercial launch vehicle. According to the House's proposed budget for 2021, NASA would launch the Clipper by 2025 and the future lander by 2027, using SLS to launch both if available. In response, the Clipper team began planning for bird scenarios that harmed the mission's progress. Team members said, "We were looking at several different options, including Falcon Heavy and other comparable launch vehicles, while still planning for SLS." All of this changed in January when the team received new instructions from Congress to move forward with selecting a viable commercial option, Clipper team member Bob explained. Bob said in late January, "We received a memo that directs the project to immediately cease efforts to maintain SLS compatibility and move forward with a commercial launch vehicle. During that time, NASA issued a formal request for proposals and took its time reviewing the options. The agency concluded that Falcon Heavy was the best option. But choosing to use a commercially made heavy rocket presented both challenges and rewards. Although the Clipper has a variety of options, none of them is powerful enough to propel it on the same journey as SLS. As a result, Clipper's trip will take about 5.5 years instead of 3, and additionally, the probe will need to conduct speed-boosting gravity-assist flybys of Mars and Earth along the way. In February 2025 and December 2026, commercial launches will also require a kick stage, an additional stage that is added to the top of the rocket for thrust. However, it is not clear how exactly the Clipper's decision to use the private rocket will affect the overall cost of the mission. According to agency officials, a commercial launcher won't be as expensive as SLS, but travel time will drive up the mission's cost. So NASA was left with a dilemma. Does Europa Clipper sit in storage awaiting the chance to launch on an SLS rocket, or does it take a little longer to reach Jupiter? As a result of that decision, NASA ultimately chose to launch Clippers on Falcon Heavy. Casey Dreyer of the Planetary Society said that NASA is getting a great deal here. He said the $178 million quoted launch for the Falcon Heavy is $65 million less than the launch of the Mars Perseverance rover on an Atlas V. This represents significant savings over an estimated $2 billion cost of SLS. Elon Musk wasn't sure if the rocket would succeed when it first launched in 2018. As soon as its first flight was over, the heavy lifter nabbed a lucrative contract from the Air Force. The $130 million deal covered the launch of an Air Force Space Command 52 satellite later that year. Falcon Heavy also won a contract to launch a part of NASA's Lunar Gateway, a vital component of the agency's moon architecture. In 2018, SpaceX received certification for its Falcon 9 rockets. A spokesperson for ISP said that the Falcon Heavy is essentially 3 rockets strapped together and needs a new certification. SpaceX has completed the certification process and is reaping the benefits as well as launching the Europa Clipper mission. Coming back to the Clipper, when the Clipper reaches Jupiter, it will carry out a detailed survey of Europa and use a sophisticated suite of scientific instruments to find out if life is possible on the moon. Its primary objective is to image the moon's surface, to assist scientists in determining its composition, search for signs of geological activity, and measure the thickness of the moon's icy shell. In addition to searching for subsurface lakes, the probe will also determine the depth and salinity of Europa's subsurface ocean. The spacecraft will spend 4 years flying over the surface of the moon after reaching Jupiter. Clipper's observations will be used to evaluate the moon's habitability as well as to select potential landing sites for a future lander if it is feasible to initiate that mission in the next few years. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you for watching. If you would like to receive updates about more tech-related news, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for more updates. If you have any questions, please share your thoughts below. Thank you for staying with us.